In today's fast-paced and dynamic business environment, the only constant is change. Nowhere is this truer than in the realm of finance and accounting, and more specifically, accounts payable. Traditional processes and practices are rapidly advancing in technology, automation, and of course, new and ever innovative frauds, evolving regulatory issues, and shifting market dynamics. One area that stands at the forefront of this evolution in the business world is the accounts payable function. As the financial heart of an organization, accounts payable plays a pivotal role in managing cash flow, vendor relations, avoiding fraud, and maintaining financial stability. And of course, at the same time all of this is going on, busy professionals have to do more, they have more to watch out for, and more topics to learn about. That's why at AP Now we created what we're calling our speed learning series of books, quick read books that can be consumed in less than 1 hour. The first, not surprisingly, focuses on change in accounts payable. I want to talk about 3 of the changes that we discuss in our quick read book. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that the significance of accounts payable cannot be overstated. It serves as the intersection, if you will, where financial commitments are made, supplier partnerships are nurtured, regulatory reporting is managed, and financial data is processed. Yet the function of accounts payable is undergoing a profound metamorphosis, changing forever the fundamental structure of the process by which financial obligations are met. The old manual processes are fast giving way to automation and digitization. Regulatory bodies are intensifying their scrutiny, necessitating additional and more sophisticated compliance. And of course, they're taking advantage of all the new technology today also, which makes them more effective at finding where you maybe have fallen down just a teeny bit on the job. Tomorrow's accounts payable department will look very different from today's. The very basic processes are changing. Invoices are no longer largely paper. Payments are no longer being made largely by paper check. And sadly, fraud is evolving at a rate faster than anything else. Planning for the future that allows the organization to compete requires some very basic changes. And of course, our quick read book is designed to start you on that transformative journey, one that towards a future where accounts payable becomes a strategic partner rather than a mere transactional function. In the last 5 to 10 years, the responsibilities of the accounts payable team have evolved and are expanding slowly. The process was jump-started with the advent of COVID, and when many organizations took their accounts payable function remote, almost overnight. And for those who were not able to go remote, the whole experience served as a wake-up call that we need to get away from paper. Very quickly, the function is evolving from one that is primarily focused on accurate data entry to one requiring top-notch management, analytical, and executive skills. Many of these expansions involve tasks that were not traditionally done. They are as a result of either expanded regulatory reporting requirements or expanded best practices to help organizations thwart off potential fraud and, of course, become more efficient and effective and take advantage of some of the new technology that's out there. In our time today, I want to look at 3 changes, 3 tasks that are now have to be done in accounts payable that we normally didn't do, that we didn't do just a few short years ago. All right, let's start off. Change number 1. Your vendor setup has gotten a lot more complicated on 2 fronts, both from the fraud prevention standpoint, and when we talk about fraud prevention, that also means preventing duplicate payments, although by no stretch of the imagination is a duplicate payment necessarily fraud, and regulatory requirements. These require a lot more effort and analytical skills. Vendor validations are just the start. They've gotten a lot more complicated as criminals have become more enterprising and regulatory authorities more accurate. So, what new tasks are being done in accounts payable? It is no longer acceptable to just set a vendor up using the information on the invoice. That may be the starting point, but validating as many of those pieces of information as possible is now considered a best practice. Also, it is important to continually monitor changes that are made to vendor files to ensure that neither your employees, nor your vendor's employees, nor criminals are playing games with your data, forcing you or tricking you, if you will, into making a payment to somebody that you shouldn't have made it to. Some new skills are that employees must understand OFAC, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and other regulatory issues impacting every organization. The fines and the reputational damage to the organization can be severe if these regulatory compliance requirements are not adhered to. Change number 2, verifying change of bank account and rush wire requests from high-level executives. As most who are listening today are probably aware, there has been an onslaught of fraud attempts using both phony change of bank account requests generally sent by an email and rush wire transfer request purportedly from the CFO or some other high-level executive. These are usually a result of some sort of email manipulation which is done to attempt to trick an employee using a very similar URL, for example. While there is a recognition that these tasks must be done, few management teams have taken into consideration just how much time it takes to do some of these verifications. So the new tasks, of course, are the timely verification of anything that is sent to the accounts payable department that is out of the ordinary, okay? Also, they now have to take a minute or two to closely examine email addresses associated with requests, because that is the first step, if you will, in determining whether we've received now a phony email. So new skills are the ability to decipher phony email addresses and hopefully not fall for some of these new frauds that the criminals are attempting to perpetrate. And by the way, they focus on everyone. They don't discriminate. So the lowest level employee right up to the president of the organization or the CEO. Change number 3 for our accounts payable folks. They really now have to identify and respond to new frauds and change processes to accommodate these new needed protection routines. Now, this is an ongoing responsibility because the new frauds keep coming, at a pace that you wouldn't believe. In fact, the pace that these new frauds have swept through the marketplace in the last few years is nothing short of horrific. Anyone who works in, manages, or has responsibility for the accounts payable and or payment function now should be on the lookout for the next new fraud. I wish I knew what it was so I could tell you, but sadly I don't. Once it is identified, hopefully, and it's identified before your company becomes a victim, the organization must change its processes to protect against the fraud. Usually what this has done is it translates into additional but very necessary work for the accounts payable staff. And of course, nobody seems to be looking to add staff to handle this. They just expect the existing staff to manage to get it done. So some new tasks. The team must be constantly on the lookout for the new fraud. Once it is identified, the management team must make sure that everybody in the organization is updated and educated, and updated not only to what the fraud is, but how you're going to protect it against it. Also, whatever protection routines need to be incorporated into the current processes should be implemented immediately, not when there's spare time, because if you wait until you have spare time, you're going to get hit again and again. And of course, the new skills are the ability to recognize new frauds, which is definitely not a simple task because nobody can tell you what the new frauds are, so nobody can tell you exactly what you should be on the lookout for. My only suggestion is anything out of the ordinary. Everybody should read and watch videos, etc., and listen to podcasts about as much of the current business intelligence to be alerted when another organization identifies a new fraud. For that is how we all, we band together. We're stronger, definitely as one, because as soon as one person is, a fraud is attempted against them, if they spread the word, it's less likely that somebody else will fall for it. So today you tell me about a new fraud, and hopefully tomorrow I tell you. So our best protection is shared information, and that's part of our mission at AP Now, both with all our paid webinars, etc., and in the podcast and on YouTube and in our free e-zine, wherever we can, we're always, shouting the word. So don't forget. Hit the subscribe button right now so you can be alerted when we put out new content, which we usually do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Alrighty. This talk is based on the first 2 pages of our book, Change in Accounts Payable, which is available on Amazon and other online booksellers for only $8.95 because it's a quick read. I promise, unless you're a very slow reader, it'll take you less than an hour to read it. I'll have a link for it in the description. If you want more information about some of the new verification routines that are now required in the accounts payable department to protect your organization against these new frauds, you can watch a short video we did on that topic right now using the link that has appeared on your YouTube screen and is in the description. As always, I appreciate your likes, your shares, your comments, and your subscribes. Good luck.